Hello, hello, hello. The camera is powered up. The battery is full at 100%. I have my water. I'm ready to go. I listened to a little bit of music. I'm awake. I took a nap. I did a live stream. I had a lot of fun in my live stream tonight. And we spilled a lot of tea, and it was real fun. So I'm ready to go in the vlog. It has been a really good day today. It has been a fun day. And tomorrow is going to be a fun day too. I have to do like a follow-up meeting for an hour. That'll be real short. I don't even have to get dressed up for it. I can literally throw on something and just go in there. And then I have the rest of the day off. That's at 1, from 1 to 2. So I'm going to film my videos tomorrow, and then I'm going to try to pre-film some of my videos for my Peterisms channel and my BookTube channel, and I'm excited about it. So yeah. Yep. I wrote down a couple ideas of some videos that I want to film for those channels. I have like 2 each on either channel right now, which by now I wanted to have like 4 each, so I need to catch up a little bit, you know? But it'll be cool. And I can film a couple down there, that's not an issue. And Alex was like, don't you want to film some down there too? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. But I just don't want to not be able to, like, you know, hang out and go to the beach and all that kind of stuff. If, like, you know, get stuck in the room having to do all that kind of stuff. That's not fun. So, but I love making the videos too, and I love like seeing your reaction to the videos. So it'll be fun to like just post them and then like just gonna sit there and read the comments throughout the day and stuff like that. That's what I'm excited about, you know, like being on the beach and just like reading the comments. So you guys will kind of like be on the beach with me while I'm reading the comments. And of course I'm vlogging every day that I'm down there. So I just don't know how long the vlogs will be. But I'm going to try to show more of like, I mean, it's going to be hard while we're at Ultra, because I'm not going to take my camera to Ultra. First of all, because of all the music in there, and, but other than the days that we're at Ultra, yeah, like, I'm going to be like filming in the room, or like if we go out and get something to eat, I'll probably like film while we walk around, stuff like that. So, I'm excited. I'll show y'all a little bit of Miami. The hotel that we stay at is actually, like, immediately, if you're looking at the Versace mansion, it's immediately to the right. It's called the Victor Hotel. That's where we always stay in Miami. So, for those of you that will never make it to Miami or South Beach, I will film the Versace mansion so you guys can see it. It's very cool, actually, in person. If you guys are watching the assassination of Gianni Versace, it's kind of surreal, like, when you're there, that, like, well, first of all, that happened, but it's kind of surreal that somebody lived there, because you're literally on, like, in the heart of Ocean Drive. Like, it is in the heart of Ocean Drive, which is the main road of South Beach. It's, like, right there on, I mean, the other side of Ocean Drive is the ocean, it's the beach. And to imagine that, like, Versace lived there, and you can kind of see through it. Like, I've never been in there. There's like a restaurant and a club, but I've never been in there. I think you have to pay a lot to go in there. But like, you can see through, and you can see the pool and stuff, and it's phenomenal. I mean, it is gorgeous, right? And just to imagine that he actually lived there is, I mean, I would wonder, I kind of wonder, like, I should look it up, how much that place is like worth, because it is absolutely unreal. And so anyway, somebody recommended on my vlog, it's funny because I'm a big water drinker anyway, but there was and you guys remember I stopped drinking soda for a month, and like I just drank water, and like my skin cleared up and I started feeling better and all that kind of stuff. And then like, I don't know what happened, but I kind of got away from that. But I still drink a lot of water. I drink, Alex and I are both really big water drinkers. And I'm not like really into the filtered water, like that doesn't bother me a whole lot. Like I'll drink tap water, But Alex will only drink filtered water. So I bought him like a couple years ago one of those big pure filter box things. So he fills it like every couple of days in the refrigerator, and then it has like a little tap on it, and that's how he gets his water. I fill up this big, I have this big gallon or quart, what is it, 2 quarts or whatever. It's like this big, you know, the handle on it, jug that I keep in the fridge. And so the water's, because I like ice cold water. So let me tell you a little trick, because, okay, so somebody had commented on my video the other day, and they said, you know, you should just drink, I think it's like a gallon of water a day. You're supposed to lose like 20 pounds in a month or whatever, and it's supposed to clear up your skin. Some woman did this study like a while ago. She just like didn't change her eating habits at all, and all she did was just drink water for a month, and she like, that's all she changed, and she lost like 20 pounds. Anyway, somebody commented on my video, and I had kind of forgotten about it, and they're like, oh, you should try this. And so I was like, you know, I should try that. And so this thing right here, this little cup, which you can get them at Costco and places. This is an off-brand one. This is a Rocky Mountain tumbler. I got it at Kohl's for $9.99, and it'll keep coffee hot, and it keeps drinks really ice cold. They're like those Swell things, but they're 32. This is 32 ounces in here, and so I like them more than I like the Swell bottles, because those bottles I like, but they're small, and so every time I leave the house, I just take that jug, and in the morning, I fill up that, or the night before I go to bed, I fill up that jug so that it's full in the fridge. And then every day before I leave the house, I just fill this up. And throughout the day, I've like drank like, I mean, I'm literally drinking that much water. And it's a really easy way if you're trying to drink a lot of water. Get one of these. Get one of those things. You can get them at Walmart for like $3.99. Those jugs with the handle on them that have like, they're like gallon jugs. And then you just fill them with water every day. Somebody also recommended for me to drink distilled water. So I may try that. You can get like distilled water at the grocery store for really cheap. Like a milk carton kind of it for like 99 cents, I think. It's really super cheap. So I may start doing that, but like Tanya always says to me, like, I'm not getting all my waters. I've been meaning to get my waters, but I'm only, you know, ending up drinking like 3 cups of water a day. This is such an easy way because you just keep on filling it and taking it with you. And I still drank my coffee today, but I don't know. I will say this, like, as much as my weight has fluctuated in my life, like I'm really heavy right now, but as much as my weight has fluctuated in my life, one of the things that I am blessed is, and I think it's because I lotion every day with that Aveeno lotion. I've used Aveeno lotion for 20 years. I think it's because I use Aveeno lotion every day. So every day I get out of the shower, I lotion from head to toe, like my face, my hands, my legs, my everything. I lotion everything. And I think because I drink so much water, you guys, I literally have not one stretch mark on my entire body. I think I have like one, and it's on my side, and it's like that big. And my weight has gone up and down and up and down and up and down. Plus my skin is, people always say that my skin is really smooth. So, and now that I'm going to be taking Tottie's vitamins, because she sent them to me in the mail today. Did you guys see my main channel video? So Tottie sent me her videos, or her pills today, and she sent me a handwritten note and everything, and it said, she signed it Hot Toddy. I thought that was so cute. But, so yeah. I don't know, I just think that like water and lotion are like a really important part. Plus, like whenever I buy soap or like shower gel, I always make sure I get the hydrating kind. I don't get soap or shower gel that like dries out my skin. I don't like real greasy lotions because like but I think it depends on your skin type too. Like my friend Paul back in the day, he used to use like petroleum jelly. He would just like use it right on his skin, and his skin was like so just like luscious, and it would just like soak it up, you know? My mom used to use, are you ready for this? My mother had like perfect skin, and she would put Vaseline on her face at night. Like, I could not believe it. She washed her face with just bar soap all her life, and that's what she taught me to do. That's what I do to this day. And she would put Vaseline on her face at night. It was like a trick my grandma taught her or something. I don't know. My aunt used to do it too. I just can't imagine putting Vaseline on your face, like petroleum jelly, but whatever, it worked for my mom. But I also think that so much of it is genetics. Like, my mom just had really, really good skin. My dad has really good skin. You know, neither one of my parents had acne in high school, so I think I just was blessed to not get acne. My cousin didn't have acne in high school. You know, my aunt never had acne, my mom said. Alex, like, he still gets acne really bad. And, like, his mom had really bad acne in high school, too. I feel bad for people that have had really bad acne. You know, I've had friends of mine that have just, like, well, Alex even, we've talked about it. Like, Alex is like, he was so hypersensitive in high school because, like, his acne was so bad and he couldn't get rid of it. He would do anything, you know. He was on tetracycline and, you know, he did, like, went to the dermatologist and everything, and, like, nothing would get rid of, you know, his acne. And he always was super, super hypersensitive about it. So, but if you're trying to drink more water, get one of these. I swear it'll help you. So anyway, that's my little trick for the day. So it's been a good day. Like, I got the pills from Toddy. That was really fun to see those, and got the private note in there. I really loved that. So thank you, Toddy. And then Chris Crocker, I did a video about him yesterday. He put me in his Instagram story and shouted me out. Put me on his Facebook, put me on Twitter. So I was like, oh my God, Chris Crocker, thank you so much. Now, you guys know, I mean, the whole reason that I started the YouTube thing is because I love YouTubers, period. You know, they're like celebrities to me. Call me a social climber, call me a celebrity junkie, call me a groupie, call me a fan. I don't really care, but I love these people. If I met Chris Crocker in person, I'd probably faint a million faints. So anyway, that was awesome. And then I, like, shouted out, like, Bratty Cupcakes and her boyfriend King Sully on, and they both just, like, liked my video and tweeted me. They were so nice, and it's just like, people are just so nice. I don't know. This whole YouTube thing is so fun. It is just so much fun. I have such a good time with it. I constantly meet new people and nice people, and everybody kind of treats me like that nice gay uncle at the family reunions, you know? Like, everybody's just so friendly to me. And, it's I don't know, I like it, it's fun. So anyway, that was my day. I got up, I did that, I came home, I made videos, and then Alex asked me if I wanted to go out to dinner with he and his friend. They were going to this Thai restaurant, and I just was not in the mood for Thai. So I got, what do you call it? I ended up getting noodles and company, and I didn't even eat that much of it. And I ate it while I watched 60 Days In. Do you guys watch this show, 60 Days In? Okay. Now, usually, I watch every season of it, but usually about 3/4 of the way through, I get so done with it that I stop watching it because it kind of gets boring. Not this season. These people have gone rogue, and they kicked this one girl off the show because she blows her cover. And I hope I didn't ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but you've probably seen it coming for 3 episodes because they've been bleeding this out. This 60 Days In is crazy. I mean, like, they are full-on inmate at this point, these people. It's, like, surreal. It's, like, unreal. Between that and that Girls Incarcerated, which I love that show. I love that show so much. It's so weird that it's taking place in Indiana because they talk about things on the show about Indiana and, like, the cities that they're from. Like, I know all the cities that these girls are from, so when they show them in their hometowns, I'm like, oh, that's so weird. And there's this one girl on there that her aunt and uncle are her adoptive parents. I used to see stories like this, first of all, not the story I'm about to tell you, but the family stories. I used to see stories like this all the time. Her aunt and uncle are her adoptive mom and dad, but she calls them mom and dad because they adopted her at like 4 months old. Well, she's never had a relationship with her biological mom. So she gets out of Madison County the first time, and her mom wants to hang out with her. So she goes over there and she hangs out with her biological mom and her mom's boyfriend, and they, like, will not let her leave, and they shoot her up they said with crystal meth and heroin, but I didn't know you could shoot crystal meth. Can you? Like, I didn't know that. But anyway, they shoot her up with heroin. They get her hooked on heroin so bad that she goes into like major withdrawals, and she had to go into ICU at the hospital for withdrawals. Okay, let me just tell you, you don't hear that a lot. So anyway, she gets hooked on drugs and she gets out, you know, all this kind of stuff, and then she ends up going to Madison later. This girl, like, her anger issues are so surreal. I don't know, I keep on saying the word surreal. Her anger issues are so out there. I mean, she's such an angry person, but like, you understand why she's so angry. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really sad. So I watch that. I feel like I'm watching all these reality shows now that are so like deep and serious. It's like none of them are lighthearted. And of course, I'm back to reading like 6 books at the same time right now, which I've got to stop. It's not helping anybody. I keep on just starting all these books. I'm like, oh, I'll start this. Oh, I'll start that. Well, here's the thing. I did this booktube video called, it's a tag, and it's called Try a Chapter Book Tag. And so you pick 5 books, and then you read a chapter of each one, and you decide which one of the 5 books you're going to read. Well, I picked 5 books. I've read the first chapter out of 3 of them. I want to read all of them. That's the problem. Like, now I've got 5 new books that I want to read. Ooh, that was an animal in the middle of the road. I want to read Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief. Like, that one's really good. This Victoria Schwab book. God, my nose is itching. And then I want to read, what's the third one that I started? I can't remember. Anyway, so let me tell you my one thing about today. So I go fill my tire today, okay? I get up, I filled my tire before I went to bed last night, late, like, I don't know, like, before I went to bed, so it was late. And I got up today and I got in my car, and my tire it seemed fine. It looked really low, but it said it was fine, like the light didn't come on or anything. So then, as soon as I start driving, the light comes on. Well, I get to my office, and I look at the tire, and I'm like, damn, that tire looks low, right? So when I left my office, I went immediately to the gas station. Well, I don't know what was happening, but when I was filling my tire up, I set it for like 34, although I should have set it at 32, but I wanted to put more air in the tire in case it lost it. But as it was going up, like, it was started at like 18 or 20. It started going down. Like, I didn't understand what was going on. And then the thing said air. So I put it back on there again, and it looked like it was losing air as I was putting air into it. And it wasn't like pulling air from it. I was like, is this thing pulling air from my tire? So I immediately was like, okay, Peter, you have put this off long enough. Go get a new tire. Because when we leave on our trip, we haven't decided yet if we're going to drive our car to the airport, or if my brother-in-law and his wife are going to drive us to the airport. And if they drive us to the airport, then they're just going to use my car for the week. And I can't have them have a car that has a bad tire on it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get it fixed. And I knew I was going to have to get it fixed. And I was like, I really don't want to spend the money to get it fixed, because I knew if I went in there, it was going to be a lot more than I thought it was going to be. And I thank God, you know, here's the thing I feel very blessed about. I've been working really, really hard in the last year to pay off all of my debt. So I literally have no debt right now. So, like, I was telling Alex tonight, I said, you know, it was such a good feeling, because tonight was like the first time that I could like go in there and not be worried about money when I had to do it, you know? So I pull it up into Discount Tire, because that was the closest place, and it was right by our house, and Alex had gone there, and he had had pretty good service there. So I went there, and the guy was real nice, and he came out to my car, and he's like, oh yeah, this tire's bad. And then he's looking at my other 2 tires. He's like, you got 3 bad tires. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, so what do you think? And he's like, well, I think you need to get all new 4 tires. He's like, I can sell you 3, but tires wear out evenly, and he's like, you need to get 4 new tires, and he's like, then come in here every 6,000 to 8,000 miles, get them rotated so that, you know, you save the tire or whatever. And he's like, you can't, like, he's like, do you really drive like that much? He's like, you can make tires last 3 or 4 years. He's like, unless you're like, you know, driving like 100 miles every day. Well, I didn't want to tell him I was a vlogger, see? Because, you know, like, well, I'm in the car every night. But anyway, so I had him look, he looked at, he's like, I said, so how much would that be? So he pulls up these tires, okay? And I'm like looking at the prices, and as he's like going down, I go, no, I don't want the best tires. I don't need the best tires. He goes, okay, so what do you want, like mid-range? And I said, yeah, like mid-range, you know, I said, this is what I said to him. I said, I don't need Nordstrom, but I don't want Walmart. I said, more like Target, right? And he goes, okay. And he goes, well, here, I can put you in these tires, these 4 tires for $791. I go, that's $200 a tire. And he goes, yeah. And I go, oh, no. I go, there's got to be cheaper tires. I said, your discount tire, there's got to be cheaper tires than that. I said, the last time I think I paid like $110 a tire or like $98 a tire or something. He goes, well, you got really cheap tires. That's probably why they didn't last you that long. And I thought, oh, now don't start that with me. You know, they see me come in and they treat me like an idiot anyway because they know I just don't know shit about cars. And I hate that. You know, I hate at the Jiffy Lube, I get screwed by car places constantly. And I actually have a good friend of mine and he owns a garage, but I can't just like drive it in there because he's always so booked out that I have to call him and then bring it in like a day or two, which is fine. But like, I needed this tire fixed today. And I knew that if I called him, he'd be like, well, bring it in and then let me see if I can get you 4 tires for cheaper. And I just didn't want to fuck with it. So I said, do you have anything cheaper? And he goes, well, yeah, I can get you cheaper tires. He goes, but they're not going to last you very long. You want something that's a little bit rugged since you're saying that you drive a lot. And I go, well, I'm leaving for Florida next week. I just didn't really want to spend a bunch of money on 4 new tires. And I said, well, what if I just got 1 new tire on the 1 tire that's like low? And he goes, you can do that, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. He goes, if you come back in here in 2 or 3 months, you're still going to need 4 new tires. Like, this is where I'm stupid about cars, okay? And he said, because the other 3 tires are going to make that 1 tire wear down. And he goes, so you're going to hurt that tire. You need 4 new tires. Well, I knew part of this was true because I had heard something about this before. So I was like, okay, it's probably smarter of me. I mean, I looked at the tires. 3 of my tires were shit. I mean, they just really were, okay? They were basically about bald. They just were really bad. I mean, he wasn't screwing me. I knew, not even knowing anything about cars, that my tires were bad. So I was like, okay. So I'm like, well, I said, what else can you get me in? And he goes, 6 something. And I'm like, he was like 680, or these tires are like 680, I can get you in for labor and all this kind of stuff. I was like, seriously? And he goes, okay, well, here's 4 tires. He was like, that I can get you in. He was like, these are pretty good. He goes, I can show them to you. I go, well, you can show me all these tires, but it's not gonna mean anything to me. I don't know 1 tire from the next. And he goes, well, these tires I can get you in for $541. And I said, okay. I said, what kind of miles can you, like, how long will they last? He goes, they should last, if you bring them in here to get them rotated, they should last you 45,000 miles. I said, okay, let's do that. So I wasn't happy that I paid $541, but they're like a little bit nicer than mid-range tires, so they'll last me a while. I mean, I need a good tire because I'm driving around all the time, you know? I am in my car so much, even when I'm not vlogging, I'm in my car all the time. I drive all over Indianapolis, going to meetings, picking up people for meetings. I need reliable cars, you know? Oh, this is the other thing. Because I said to him, I go, well, what happens if, you know, like 2 days from now, like something happens to my tire? He goes, no, he goes, you have a 3-year warranty on these tires. He goes, and it means that if anything happens to it, even if it's not the tire's fault, he goes, we replace it with a brand new tire. So I was like, okay, that's a good deal. Now, I don't know if that's a discount tire warranty or that's an average tire warranty or whatever, but I had never heard that before. So with the conditions of the roads in Indianapolis right now, I was fine with that. I was like, okay, that stupid yellow light just came on. Anyway, so I got my new tires. I was all excited about that. And, you know, $541 is a lot of money for me. I don't know what kind of money y'all have out there, but $541 is a lot of money for me. But it was nice that I had enough money saved that, like, I don't know, like 2 years ago, I would have been like, okay, now, I don't know that I'll have money for Miami. You know what I mean? Like, that's how stressed I would have been like 2 years ago. And, I'm just not like that anymore because I've been so intent on paying off my debt and saving money. I've saved so much money in the last 2 years, and I've been very, very smart with money, and I haven't bought everything that I wanted. And, you know, like, when there's something that I want and I don't buy it, I put that money in savings instead. So, you know, I wasn't stressed about it today, and it was a really nice feeling for once, you know, to not be stressed about that stuff. And I was like, okay, so, you know what, Peter? You're a grown-up. You know what I mean? It's like 45 years old and I'm just growing up, you know, whatever. But at least I don't have to worry about driving around anymore, you know, on those tires. So that was that. And then Alex came home, and then we hung out and talked for a little bit, and he told me all about his day and some business stuff that he's doing. He has some exciting, you know, so Alex runs the website that we started together. We started a website in 2009, the year after we got together, called Rant, RAANNT.com. And we used to interview all kinds of celebrities. He has now dedicated the entire website. When I stepped away from it, because I was doing YouTube and other stuff and writing my book, he turned it into an entire website all about electronic dance music. But all of those old interviews are still on there and stuff, so you can still go back there and check. We interviewed Kathy Bates and Angela Bassett and all of the queens from RuPaul's Drag Race, and a lot of musicians like Maya and who else back in the day. It was fun. A lot of YouTubers, tons of YouTubers on there we interviewed. And anyway, yeah. So he was telling me about some stuff because he's got some, so we're going down to Miami next week, and Ultra starts on Friday. We get there on Wednesday, and it's actually Winter Music Conference, and before Ultra Music Festival, and that's like when all the producers and the musicians come out there and DJs and stuff. So there's like a lot of parties, like a lot of like pool parties that are thrown by the producers, like the what do you call it, the record labels and stuff like that. Then there's like a lot of like private parties that, like, we went to one a couple years ago that Armin van Buuren had, and we each got like a pair of like earphones, and there were only like 50 people there, and we were like the first one to like hear these earphones that he had made exclusively, these Philips they were like $300 like headphones. We each got a pair, and it was like this exclusive party. Alex got us into it. I don't know how he got us into it, but it was so much fun. So we go to a lot of stuff like that, and like rooftop parties at the W, and it's fun. I don't usually, like, he usually goes the first night we get there, and I stay in the hotel room and go to the pool and go swimming and get a Diet Coke and read and stuff like that because I'm so tired from traveling. And he usually goes to a party that first, like, afternoon, because there's parties all day long. So he'll go, and then he'll come back, and then he'll take a shower and nap for a little bit, and then we usually go out to dinner that first night. So I'm real excited because I'm ready to do some shopping, okay? I got a little bit of money saved just for shopping. I only go to Lush when I'm in Miami, and I love Lush products. So I've only been to Lush one time, and that was when I was in Miami. So let me talk about it as if I'm an expert. If you guys watched my vlog in August, I bought the bath bomb. So I'm going to buy some more bath bombs. I'm going to buy some shampoo and conditioner. Oh, my camera stopped. Damn it. Okay. So I was listening to music, and I have absolutely no idea what I was talking about before it cut off. I remember me saying something about the lady, and I don't remember what I said about the lady. I don't know what lady I was talking about. Gosh, I need to... See, I'm driving, or I would take notes and be like, the lady. The lady in the water. Did you ever see that movie, The Lady in White? I loved that Halloween movie back in the day. It was like one of my favorite movies. What was I talking about? I ramble so much in my videos, I have no clue what I was talking about. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, does it? Oh, it's like Janis Joplin. It's all the same motherfucking day. It's all the same motherfucking day, man. I put that in my book. If you've read my book, Cher had that written on her bedroom floor. It's so funny when people read my book. Like, people either love the character Cher or they hate her. And I was like, I kind of felt the same way about her when I was writing her. But like, Cher is so modeled after a friend of mine that I had in high school. And, well, actually, a friend of mine that I had in high school and a friend of mine after high school that I had. She's kind of a mix between two characters in my life. I do have like a lot of character type people in my life. Like a lot of people that are like, I don't know, characters, eccentric characters. I think that's what's fun about the world, you know? About meeting people that are different and all that. What was I talking about? I was telling something, I was excited about it, that I wanted to tell it. Now I don't remember what I was talking about at all. It really pisses me off. I've been taking that ginkgo biloba stuff that's supposed to like help with your memory, and it is not helping at all. Like, not one bit. I feel like my memory is worse. Okay, I'm wiggling my toes. So it's supposed to set off neurons in your brain. What was I talking about on my vlog? You guys are like shouting it at the screen right now, aren't you? Because you just saw it 2 seconds ago, but that's not fair. For me, it's been like 20 minutes, okay? And I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, well. So I got my tires fixed today. I got all that done. Paid the money. Was talking about that. Talking about how I was so happy that I had money that I could pay. And back in the day, I wasn't able to do that. And so anyway. You guys were so nice about the video where, like, I got really upset about talking about when I worked in treatment. I almost was like, I didn't want to post that end part, but I really wanted it on there for me to remember later. But I was like, my nose is driving me nuts. I trimmed my beard today. I don't know why it's when I trim my beard, because I even like went up here and I trimmed around here, so it like shouldn't be bothering me at all. I don't know why. Maybe it's like, it's just a little bit when I go like that, it like itches my nose because it's shorter and sharper or something. Maybe that's why it is. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I almost didn't include that part in there. The thing is like, I never really edit anything out of my vlogs, so like I never think like, oh, don't put this part in there, don't put this part in there, or whatever. I don't ever, I mean, obviously you guys know I don't go in there and edit shit out. And so, just whatever I say is what I say. And, but that was like the very end, and I was like, is it necessary for me to put it in here? And I was like, yeah, like, this is how I felt that night, this is what I was thinking, you know? I think, like, I was talking to a friend of mine today, and she was like, we were talking about, like, your story, you know? And, like, she's just gone through a lot of tragedy lately in her life. And I had asked her recently, I was like, well, what do you feel like you need people to know about what you've gone through? And she's like, well, I want them to know this and this and this. And I said, and she's like, you know, like, what would you do with it? And I said, well, I'm like an open book about my life. Like, you know, that's just, but that's how I live my life. And I think, like, it's because of recovery. And she said, so you think that everybody that's in recovery is like that? And I said, no. I said, but I guess, like, you know, I don't know. Like, I feel like so much of it is that all I have is my story. You know what I mean? Like, I think for a lot of us, like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but, like, all we have is our story of our lives, like the things that happened to us and whatever. So me talking about it or me sharing it is like really all I have. And so, like, to some degree, the way that I like cathartically process issues is by talking about them, if that makes sense. Like getting them out, talking about them, getting stuff out, you know, and I'm so upset that I can't remember. I'm gonna get home when I start editing this together, and I'm gonna be like, because I can remember I was like talking about something, and then I was like, I didn't want to stop talking about it, so I just know that when I get home and I see it, I'm gonna be like, damn it, that's what I wanted to talk about. Because there was something I wanted to talk about on my vlog last night, and then when I got home last night and I was editing it together, I was like, I can't believe that, like, this is what I wanted to say and I didn't say it. So I don't know, but you know, like, have a lot of friends in my life, you know. It's like somebody put on a video of mine today, they said something about you're an extrovert and I'm not, and you know, I wish I could be more like you. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not, you know. It is not difficult for me to get on camera and talk. I don't know why that is. I can't explain it for the life of me. I think on some level, like, I don't really connect me filming with people watching it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really connect the process. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I film it and I put it up, but I don't think like lots of people are gonna watch it. Like, I don't think of the response, if that makes sense. I just post it. And I kind of like, you know, I always say on here that, like, I do care what people think about me, but I must not to some degree, because I post all kinds of stuff about my life and me acting foolish and flipping fans and singing songs, and I really don't care. Like, I really don't, and I really probably would do that in public. I really would. Like, the more I've thought about it recently, it's like, you know, like, Alex was like, if you ever, like, did like go on tour or you did like a meet and greet or whatever, would you like flip fans? And I said, absolutely. I said, yes, I would. I think it would be so much fun, you know? And I don't want people to hate me, you know what I mean? But I don't care if people laugh at me. I don't care if me being foolish cheers somebody's day up, or me crying on camera makes people feel an emotion or have a response. Like, then I feel part of the world. I feel part of somebody else's life. And, you know, so like, all I have is my story. That's all I have, you know, at the end of the day. It's like, all we have is what we've lived through and what our story is. And this, so anyway, this girl was like, you know, you're extroverted or whatever. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm really not extroverted. Like, I feel safest when I'm at home by myself with my dogs. I just really do. It's a lot of work, and I've talked a lot about this with my social anxiety. It's a lot of work for me to put myself out there. I do it. I don't have a problem with it. But like, I don't do well with like big crowds. I just don't. So then you ask, well, you're going to a music festival. How do you do that? Well, I'm next to Alex. And so it's very safe for me. Would I go by myself? Am I one of those people? Never in a million years. But I can go to a movie by myself. I can go into a restaurant and eat by myself. And so I don't know how, but those were things that I had to practice. When my ex and I broke up, I just wasn't willing to not go out to dinner or see movies anymore. And, you know, nobody wanted to go out to dinner with me late. Nobody wanted to go see movies with me late. And my life has always been later. I always just am up later. So, like, I would go to the late show and I would just go by myself. And over time, I just got comfortable with it. And I think it's just practicing things, and over time, you get comfortable with it, you know? So, I don't know. It's just like, but I'm not that comfortable. I just have to do a lot of practice with it. Well, anyway, but I think, like, no matter what your story is, you know, and I always joke and say whether you're a host at Walmart or, you know, whatever you are, well, that's not really our story. You know, like, those are things that we do. Those are jobs we have, but that's not really our story. You know, our story is really like the family we grew up in, and, you know, the condition of our lives as we grew up, and things that happened to us, tragedies that happened to us, celebrations that happened to us, you know, accolades that we had, things that we did. And at the end, like, that's really all we have. You know, I was watching this documentary that so many people wanted me to watch called Into the Abyss, which I have to say, I wasn't super, I mean, I thought it was interesting, but I wasn't real impressed with the documentary. And even though I found out it was by that guy, that Herzig guy that did the Forgotten Women of Ohio, it was by the same guy. But anyway, it was about this not serial killers, but these two kids that killed this woman and two kids in Texas. And I think it was Texas. Was it Texas? I think it was Texas. Maybe somewhere in the South. I don't know. But anyway, this security guard on there, I may have talked about this already, but he's talking about, like, he used to work on death row, and what he realized, like, he said this thing, and I had heard it before, but I hadn't heard it in a long time, and it was live your dash. And so he said, people ask me all the time what I mean by that. And he goes, what I mean is, he goes, you know, when you look at a gravestone, you see, like, you know, 1935 to like 1980. And he goes, so 1935 is the year that you were born, 1980 is the year that you die. The dash is your life. Live your dash. You know, that's your life. And really, all we have is our dash, you know? Like, that's all we have. And I feel like so many people in life are very, very connected to the conditions of their birth, you know? And they're so stuck in talking about their birth family and whatever. And, you know, one of the things I had to realize over time, and I'm happy with my birth family, you know, my mom, my dad, and everybody, but one of the things I realized over time, and this is kind of like a thing you realize when you're part of the LGBT community, or let me say it less political, as a gay guy, is that, you know, there's a lot of people that I know that are gay whose families disown them. And so they don't have the same definition of family that other people do. And so they have a family of origin, and then they have a family of choice. And our family of choice are people that we choose to be in our life, but they feel like brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, you know, grandparents to us, if that makes sense. Aunts, uncles, you know, like my Aunt Susie. It's not my aunt. It's like, you know, Mother Susie that I call her sometimes. It's my mom's best friend from college. It's been in my life all my life, you know? Does she feel like an aunt to me? Does she feel like an aunt on the same level that my Aunt Kathy did? Yeah, absolutely. Is she my aunt? No. But you know what I mean? So, like, she's my family by choice. And I think, like, a lot of people get stuck in the conditions of their birth origin family. And then a lot of people live out of fear constantly because of their impending death. And I think that happened to me for a long time, especially after my mom died. I still think about that, you know, like, oh my God, like, you know, what if I only lived to this age, or, you know, my whatever. And so at that point, I'm living in the death, or I'm living in my birth. I'm not really living my dash. And I think it's important to live our dash, you know, like, that's our life. Like, we're born, we live, we die. What we put in the middle of it is ours. And, like, you know, I've shared this on here before. When I was standing in the room in ICU with my mother minutes after she had died, and I'm trying to conceptualize what has just happened and put it all into some kind of words that I can make sense of later in my life. You know, it reminded me of that Charlotte Webb saying, which I later saw in a movie like that week. It was so weird. You know, where Charlotte says to Wilbur, it's a cycle of life. He says, I don't want you to die, Charlotte. And she said, we all die. It's a cycle of life. You know, you're born, you live, you die. And I really realized that, you know, that it's like, it's something I started asking myself after that. You know, are you living your life? And so then when I saw that documentary, it's a question I've been asking myself for like the last 2 weeks. Are you living your dash? Like, what do you want your life to speak of, Peter? Like, are you doing things that you'll look back on your life that will make you happy? That will make you proud of the way that you lived your life? That, you know, like, are you talking to people and doing things? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's an important question to ask ourselves. I was like, what is that store? Ollie's Bargain Outlet. I never heard of it. But I think it's a really important question to ask ourselves, you know, like, are you living your dash, you know? And, or are you just putting one day in front of the other? What does your life speak of? And, you know, you don't have to do monumental, phenomenal things for your life to speak of something. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the real misconception about life, is that people think a lot of times that you have to do big things and have a big life. That's not true, you know? Some of the people that I have known in my life that had the most fantastic lives, the most profound lives, never left their city, you know? But they were giving to their neighbors, and they hosted Sunday dinners, you know? And they made people feel special. It's like, did you ever see that movie, with Meryl Streep and Renee Zellweger called One True Thing? I love that movie so much. And it's one of my all-time favorite movies. And when Meryl Streep, so she's got cancer in the movie, and Renee Zellweger moves home to take care of her. There's this one part when they go pick up this woman and they drive her around, and the woman's basically like a shut-in. I think her son died or something like that. And she's basically a shut-in, and so like once a week, Meryl Streep and her friends, they like rotate going to pick her up and just driving her around and getting her out of the house, because this woman just needs to get out of her house, right? Wow. Like, that's a pretty big deal, you know, to be that for somebody. And I don't know, it just doesn't take that much to be a giving person, to be a wonderful person, you know? And it's not even, I don't think it's even in the things that we do. I think it's in the way that we do things. And, you know, it's like when you're at the grocery store, are you a bitch? Or are you kind? Are you patient? Do you let somebody, you know, go in ahead of you? One of my favorite prayers is the St. Francis prayer. And, the reason I like it is because as I read it, I don't have it memorized, but, you know, if you guys know the St. Francis prayer, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, look it up. But what I like about the St. Francis prayer is that it makes me ask myself as I'm saying it, what is my intention in life? Like, who am I being? And, you know, whether you see it as a religious prayer, you see it as an affirmation, like, it's really about being a better person is what the St. Francis prayer is about. And I love it because of that, because when I read it, it makes me ask myself, like, who are you as a person, you know? And who do you want to be as a person, and what's your intention in the world? And, you know, when I started writing books, at first, I was like, well, I'm going to do this and this and this because this is going to sell a lot. This is something I've had to do on YouTube, too. I've had to ask myself this. And then I realized that it was more important for me to write books with intention than books that just would sell a lot. You know? I don't know that I think that it takes a lot to be famous or to make a lot of money quick, or to, you know, get a lot of people on social media to think you're cool or whatever. I don't know that I think that stuff is really hard. I think what's hard is to live a life with intention and positive motives. And maybe that's not important to other people, you know, but to me it is important. It's important to me that I look at the end of the day in the mirror and I'm okay with the person that I was. And then when I take an inventory at the end of my day, which I do every day, and I look over my day at what things I did, that, you know, like, I did it to the best of my ability, if that makes sense. And, I don't know, you know, it's like, somebody was asking me the other day, another YouTuber that's I'm friends with that's smaller, and they said, like, this isn't somebody I'm super close with, and they were like, how do you, they haven't been around forever, and they were asking me, like, you know, how do you deal with the haters? And I said, I just, you know, it doesn't have the same effect on me as it did when I first started it. And they said, well, what do you think's changed? And I said, you know what I think has changed? What's interesting is that my attitude about, like, people that are negative towards me today is what my attitude was about people in the world that were negative towards me, let's say. And not a lot of people are in the real world. They just aren't, because I don't put out that kind of energy into the world. But it's how I dealt with it, like, let's say, 5 years ago going forward up till now. But on YouTube, it took me a little bit longer to get used to it because it was a different medium. And that is that I just don't play into it. Like, it really isn't about me. It's like, when Oprah and Maya Angelou talked about it, she said, but you're not in that, like, you're not in that when other people are talking about you. And I'm really not. Like, that's what, they have to come to terms with that on their own, that's who they are, and that's how they feel about me, or the things they want to say about me. And, if they feel really right in their hearts that, like, if they met me in person, they could be so nasty and ugly as to look at me in the face and say that, I wouldn't shame them for that. If they said to me, let me tell you what I really think about you, I'd say, okay, well, tell me. Like, if it's that important to you, then tell me what you really think. You know what I mean? But, like, I wouldn't shame them for their opinion, or it's their opinion, but their opinion has nothing to do with me. It doesn't speak of who I am as a person. And, when you kind of figure that out, first of all, you kind of get to a point in life where it's just like, I just don't have enough time and energy to play that game anymore. You know what I mean? Like, when you've cared so long about what people thought, it's like you do get to a point where you're just like, I don't have the same time and energy. Do I need to? Now, here's the difference, is when you hear the same criticism over and over and over again, then I do think it's important to look at it. But, like, I don't hear criticism when people say it in a nasty way to me. When people say something to me and they say it in a nice way, well, then I'm willing to look at that. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not willing to hear criticism in a way that somebody's gonna be trashy and nasty to me. And the thing is that, like, I think, like, I'm one way in like video, but, like, if you saw me in person and somebody came up to me and they said, like, if they said to me, like I'm late a lot, okay? Like, one of my biggest character defects is my being late. I've had a lot of people in my life say things to me, about it. If somebody said to me, justified or not, you think you're such fucking hot shit and you're late all the time, I would immediately shut off. I wouldn't hear anything else they had to say. Quite frankly, I probably would never plan to do something with them again, okay? And it has nothing to do with the fact that they're talking to me about being late. It has to do with the fact of how they're talking to me. But if a friend said to me, Peter, I love you, but, like, it really hurts my feelings when you don't show up on time because it doesn't make me feel like you care, I would totally hear that, and I would be like, damn, like, I need to take a look at that. And I have, now I try to, like, if I was late before, like, 40% of the time, I'm probably late now, like, 20% of the time. I just always think that I have more time than I do when I leave, the house. So now, instead, like, this has helped a lot, because I don't go get coffee before anymore. I go get coffee afterwards. So I'm on time for stuff. But, I think it's all in how you address somebody. And then let's just be honest, okay? There's some people that just don't know how to talk to people. They just shouldn't be out in the public eye. They just don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to talk to anybody, okay? And they need a lesson in how to be real human beings and talk to people, because they don't know how to talk to people. And they're just nasty. Have you ever met somebody like that? Well, they're not in my life. I don't have those people in my life that they're going to talk to me rude like that. And I'm quick to put somebody in their place real quick if they talk to me like that. I'm like, oh, okay. Wow, you must not think very high. Listen to what I'm about to tell you, because this is an important statement to make to somebody, okay? When somebody talks down to you, or somebody says something about you in a really critical, nasty way, you say, you must not think very highly of me to think it's okay to talk to me that way. Okay. And when you look at it that way, if somebody doesn't think of you very highly, don't give them the time of day. It's just not worth it, right? But at the end of the day, it's not really about what other people say about me. It's what do I say about myself? What do I think about myself? Have I been the best version of myself that I possibly can be? You know, what energy have I put out there into the world? Have I helped somebody today? Have I been a little bit better of a person than I was yesterday? Have I tried? What's my dash? Am I living my dash? You know, what am I putting out there into the world? Am I doing the best I possibly can? And I think that's what we have to ask ourselves, you know? And I think that's a motivating motto to live by, you know, live your dash, you know, and you think about that then every day, you know, like, I should write this down actually and put it somewhere so I see it first thing in the morning. I used to keep notes on my mirror. Did you ever do that? I used to keep like Post-it notes on my mirror with little sayings on it. Maybe I'll do that again. But, you know, like live your dash. Then you get up in the morning, okay, what's my dash going to be today? Like, what do I want to do that's going to be super exciting to me today? What do I want to do that's going to be something good that I put out there in the world? You know, is there something small that I can do? Can I put a quarter extra in the meter for the next person? Can I buy somebody's coffee? Can I help somebody across the street? Can I give somebody a compliment? You know, what's something nice that I can do, you know, out in the world? Remember, we started that about a year ago, and I'm still trying to do that. You know, and then what do I want to do to improve my life? You know, not just being a better, nicer person, but what do I want to do to improve my life so that I have the best life possible? Because I deserve to have a good life. You deserve to have a good life. We all do. We deserve to have the most fulfilling, successful life possible. So think about that. I'm gonna get off here and think about what your dash is. What do you want your dash to look like? And live your dash. I love you guys, and I hope you're having a wonderful day, unless you have other plans. Talk to you later.